Hello and welcome to Huddersfield Town Extra Time on HTTV, sponsored by Sportsbroker. I'm pleased to be joined by Town striker Jordan Rhodes and Dave Hartrick of Opta in the Examiner after Town's 1-0 win at home against Millwall. Jordan, the place is buzzing after that win. The lads have practically bounced out of the ground going home, and everyone had smiles on their faces. The atmosphere was electric in here. Is that what you noticed when you were down there?
Yeah, absolutely. The changing room was, in great spirits, and last minute winner at home. The captain scoring the goal and in fifth in the league as well. Everything's rosy.
I mean, we were speaking before we came on, and I was telling you this is the first time in his career that Hoggy's got two in a season ever. Something got into him.
He took it really well, didn't he? Got across his defender, made good contact on the header, and found that bottom corner. Yeah, it was a real captain's performance from him today. Take the goal aside, he got stuck in there and led by example. So everybody's really delighted and chuffed for Hoggy getting the goal and the performance he played in.
That's a finish on the head that Jordan Rhodes would be proud of, I'm sure. Dave, Jordan mentioned it, but Hoggy's overall performance was brilliant. He sort of controlled the way the midfield was going. He stopped the very rare times that Millwall were coming forward. It was one of those games where you understand why he plays the way he does in this system for Carlos Corberán.
Yeah, definitely. He's now scored more goals for Carlos Corberán than any other manager in his career, and last season, we saw him evolve into somebody who was trying to pass it forward a little bit more, and he was trying to be more of a platform than just trying to shield the defence constantly. And today was the sort of game that's sort of made for him, really, where the midfield is busy and tight, and he can just get in and Hoggy can do what Hoggy likes to do. It was his game, really. And it was, I think, like Jordan said, it was a real captain's performance today, led by example, and fully deserved that goal as well. It was a lovely little darting run across to the front post as well. Like you said, I think you'd have been proud of that, Jordan, to be fair. Striker's instinct. We all knew he had it.
After that worldie he scored at Blackpool, that wasn't a bad header. It wasn't as if he bumbled it over. But speaking of bumbles, there was several times that Millwall just by inches, I think, kept the ball out. And it was getting at one point where it felt frustrating and it felt as if it was heading towards a 0-0, almost in that same way that Birmingham game did. Do you think this is a good thing for Town to have done, to have won a game like this, Jordan, after having drawn the last home game 0-0, to kind of prove to ourselves that we can break these sorts of teams down and we do have those set pieces in our locker that are a bit of a trump card?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it is. We've got a good record at home, I think, this season. And I think people now coming to the John Smith Stadium will suddenly feel that, goals can come from anywhere on the pitch, whether it's set pieces or open play or whatever time in the game as well. Like we've proven today that Hoggy getting, the 82nd, 83rd minute or something like that. So
yeah,
you can go right until the very end of games and teams will be fearful of that.
It's one of those traits that never say die attitude that sort of typified Town when they were at their best in the past few years. It was something that perhaps escaped us in the past couple of seasons. Is that indicative of the atmosphere that's around the place at Canalside and within the squads, Jordan? It seems to be something that comes up every time we speak, but really that good feeling and that camaraderie seems to be propelling us forward.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that you can count in that. I think team spirit, the coaching staff and the way that we work relentlessly through the week. So that's a testament to the lads and the fitness levels. Like you said, the never say die attitude. They're really good people. And with that method in mind, it's a really good recipe for everyone working for one another. You saw Hoggy get the goal and I think it was not long afterwards, Matty Pearson made a great run backwards and made a great intercept. So whilst everybody's, doing their best to try and score goals at one end, we're doing our best at the other end. And, clean sheets, I don't know how many clean sheets that is, but we're doing really well at the other end as well. So, yeah, keep it going.
Jordan, you're getting a pro at these because you're setting up my next points beautifully. I was going to speak about the defence next after that clean sheet. Obviously, the solid base that Lee Nichols gives us, and I thought he was excellent again today a few times, not just with the way he was, saving the ball and stopping Millwall's odd chances, but the speed at which he released it and set us off was brilliant. But that we had that solid base again of Lees, Pearson, and Colwill. Is that really that back four? Is that a recipe, including Lee? Sorry, in that back four setup, is that a recipe that Town have got to build on and go forward? Because that seems like it's the foundation that they need going forward to really win these games.
Yeah, Sorry, I was just going to say that I thought Matty Pearson was man of the match today. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. There was a couple of blocks in there which were superb. But then to build on that, you had Levi carrying the ball in the first half, which was really, really helpful in a couple of tight situations to just release that pressure. And then the last, particularly after the goal, you had Tom Leeds, who just used all of his experience then to calm everybody down, get everybody in a line, get the subs on and completely focus so they knew exactly what they were doing. And these things matter, these things count, and these are things that Town haven't had in those positions before. That experience, that quality, and that it relaxes everybody around them. One of the reasons Lee Nichols has looked so good is because the people in front of him look so good. Paul Ryan last year, there were one or two games where he really was on a hiding to nothing because the personnel in front of him kept changing, and it was a very difficult situation for him. So it is massive. It's a huge difference. And if you start with a clean sheet, you can't go too far wrong, can you?
No, I think that's a great point. Something that I wanted to ask you about, Jordan, is somebody that you know well from both times at your club, Dwayne. I think he's been excellent in his past few performances when he's had the chance to start and a couple of times previously off the bench. He seems to have this free role coming forward where he drops into pockets of space, plays the ball off quickly, carries it really well, and quite enjoys beating his man with his little burst of pace that I think is quite underrated. Is he really enjoying his football at the minute? Because he seems to be the way he's playing.
Yeah, I think so. He's a real bundle of fun in the changing rooms. Real live wire, keeps everybody going when times tend to be a little bit quiet. But yeah, you can see in his performances the energy that he brings to the team. I think that's his one real. He brings so much energy, doesn't he? And those darts forward, he brings a bit of pace. He's directing his play. We didn't see one of his sort of shots like what we did in the couple of home games ago against Hull today. But a little ball round the corner, I think he put in for Sobs first half, and possesses real quality in setting up attacks. And yeah, it's great to see because he deserves it. He puts a lot of work on the training field, and he deserves his chance.
There's a few lads that work really hard in the system, and the team wouldn't work half as well without him. Danny Ward, especially up front, he run his blood to water again today, and just some really intelligent hold-up play touches, the way he was dropping short and everything. Is that one of those qualities and about this system that people might not rate as highly as they should, Jordan?
Yeah, I think so. You saw a lot of times today, Wardy, keeping the ball, setting up a lot of attacks, retaining balls that you wouldn't really expect him to. There was sort of maybe clearances from our own half and our own box, and Wardy turns nothing into something just to get us up that field. So yeah, a lot of hard work. And Sanani, did really well as well when he came on and when he started. And JK when he came on as well from the side. So there's real strength in depth. I think everybody's working so hard to try and get that starting shirt, and whoever's got that starting shirt is giving their all when time on the field. So we're all trying our best, and let's keep going. 2 more games this week before the international, and see where we go.
Yeah, Dave. It was a shame last time out against Bournemouth that the momentum got halted a little bit there. Obviously, playing at such a high level at this moment in time, and we're exceptional again against Town last week, and that scoreline wasn't an anomaly as far as this season's concerned for Huddersfield. Having regained that momentum today, and with Peterborough next, and then Cardiff away at the weekend, a week today, is this the sort of setup, as Jordan references before the international break, that Town needed just to go on perhaps a little bit of a run and get some more points on the board? Because I think if I'm not wrong, we're currently sitting in 5th in the table.
Yeah, it, it is. It's the thing is in the Championship you can't take anything for granted though. Peterborough are they're a good side who score goals. I'm not going to pretend that they have the quality of some of the sides at Town's end of the table, but they can certainly shock you. And you can't take that lightly. Cardiff, regardless of their position at the moment, always a difficult place to go. But it was important that this 3-game week and every 3-game week, Town tried to take 4 points. Me and Stephen Chicken have talked about it. That is what keeps you on track, essentially, in these weeks. It's difficult to take more than 4 because the games come so thick and fast and players get tired, etc. So to start with a win is exactly what they needed to do. And today, one of the conclusions I'm going to make in my piece for the Examiner tomorrow is that today it didn't really matter the style of how they did it. It was just important to get over the line and get that win and get 3 points in the bag. And that's exactly what they did. And, they can go to Peterborough a little bit more relaxed now because they don't feel like they definitely have to win one of 2 very tricky away games. They can play a bit more football, be a bit more relaxed, and I wouldn't go so far as to say enjoy themselves because Carlos Corberán is quite intense, and I'm not sure enjoyment is something he wants to see from his players necessarily. But I think it's more just a case of being a bit freer to express themselves on the back of a win, and that's what we all want to see. That's what makes football good ultimately.
Yeah, I think even though, as you say, the result was most important, I think the performance more than warranted the 3 points staying in Huddersfield today. Jordan, if I ask you a question about your own comeback and everything, when you're watching the team play so well, I'm sure you're eager to be back on here, and I see you sort of peeking out when you're walking in, and I can say you're itching to come back on, and hopefully now you're only a few weeks away. We'll get you going behind closed doors at Canalside and everything, touch wood, in the next few weeks. Is it nice for you to know that you're going to be coming back into a team that's already up and running and playing so well, and you've got players around like Sorba and Dwayne that they might be able to give you the service that a player like you will make the most of?
Yeah, I mean, well, the manager's got plenty of good players to choose from. Wardy up front, you got Meepo and Fraser as well, that have played some minutes in the recent weeks. So, I'm just going to try and get myself in the best physical condition that I can do for the manager to then do what the manager's job is to do. the 11 that's going to do the best that they can do and bring some points for Huddersfield Town. So, yeah, I'd love to have been out on the pitch on days like today. I'd love to have been out on the pitch on the previous 3 months worth. I'm itching to get back now that I'm up and running and feel like I'm in a decent sort of shape. I'm itching to get back, but can't rush these things.
That's good. It's good to hear you feeling good. Has it been nice for you, as you've been stepping up your rehab and everything, to start getting a little bit more involved with how the squad and how the lads are going? Because as we keep touching on, the atmosphere is so good. While you were stuck in the gym and what have you, it must have been like slightly annoying to see them having such a good time and just being slightly stuck to the side. Yeah,
me and Ryan were both saying that earlier. Actually, it's nice to be coming into work through the week with knowing that you're going to bump into some of the first team members and just talk about the game or just talk about football or anything that's going on during the week. That little bit of interaction, it's been lonely. It has been lonely this last sort of couple of months or so, working hard in the gym on your bike on your own, seeing the lads out there through the window, training away and scoring goals and what have you. So, it is great to be in and around the team now. And now that we're on a similar sort of rehab pattern, hopefully Scully will be back soon. Hopefully we'll have a bit more interaction and get back to what we love doing.
That's great to hear. Touch wood, that's not too far away now for you, John. Dave, if I give the last word to you, this is a Town team now that will have people talking more positively about what they could do towards the top end of the table rather than looking too far behind them, because it has been a really encouraging start to the season. With the right momentum and with playing in the way we are and building on these types of performances, what do you think this Town team are capable of doing in the next few weeks? I don't want to talk about too far down the line, but in the next few weeks, building to the national break and stuff, how can you see us going?
I think it's all signs are positive at the moment. Like the Bournemouth result, Bournemouth are a little island in this league at the moment. They feel like they're on loan from the Premier League, if we're brutally honest. And I don't think you can really judge anything on that game. And I think you have to say that there are areas Town can improve on. But at the moment, all that matters is that you just keep getting over the line and keep winning and keep the points ticking up. You can't be fifth in the table at this point in the season by accident. And I've written in several sort of Examiner pieces that it's important to remember that mid-table would represent progress this season, so not to get carried away. But I think the thing to do is we can all start to dream a little. It's just you don't fall into the trap of starting to expect too much. And that's the thing. And you look at Town's games now, and there's a couple of games in this league that feel very, very tough. But most of them you look at and you think, yeah, do you know what? Town could get something from that game. And that's just not been the case for the last couple of years. So, I mean, anybody who's not enjoying this at the moment, I really don't know. I don't know what there is more for them in the game, really. You've got to, when you have momentum like this, when you're fifth in the table, when you're looking around and thinking like you can beat most teams around you, it doesn't get much better than that, really.
No, I think that's a great note to end on. We've got a short turnaround now before Peterborough in the week, so we'll have the preview show coming up with that game in the focus soon. But I'll let you to get off and enjoy the result and enjoy the rest of your weekends. And thank you to both of you for giving us your time, and thank you to Sports Broker for sponsoring the show as ever.